Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to my after report for a raid that I joined on the Sentinel hive. So it's through the hydrostatic podcast that I found out about a public channel and a mailing list called Consortium Operations, where they allow people to join in on operations inside drifter hives. I decided to check it out, and I must say it was pretty damn well organized. So through the mailing list, I received a mail about an operation that would happen 2000 Eve time, and they also gave standard fits that you could take, including a caracal with like Tech 2 shield tank and some Tech 2 weapons as well, rapid missile launchers. And so yeah, I built a couple of those and I went out with those guys, just following their instructions. Their staging system was in a Mars, so that was pretty close to us, which was pretty damn handy. I got into the fleet no problem. I did join their TeamSpeak, which I think is something that you absolutely have to do, because running one of those drifter hives is actually a decently complex proposition. And you need to be on voice.com to be able to basically follow the instructions, because timing is pretty important in that as well. Now we had 32 people in fleet, I think, at least at the start of running the hive. And as you may know from any other game, when we're talking basically a raid where we're talking dozens of people in a fleet, it's a little bit like herding cats. So you will always have a few people that are in the wrong system, or that need to do some final adjustments on their ship. Anything can happen, and so that is maybe one thing that you should note if you plan to join one of these hive operations, is that, of course, do your very best to be on time, but also be patient. Know that there will always be slight problems and adjustments that will need to be made. So I think it was like a little bit later, maybe 40 minutes before we were completely ready inside the wormhole and ready to start the hive operation itself. Now, running the hive, I must say I felt pretty confident that just by following the instructions of the fleet commander, and then I was in actually like a B wing that had to do a right side of the hive, just following the instructions, that I would be able to do my part, and that we would be able to progress through the hive without too much trouble. And it was very reminiscent to just basically raiding. I did a little bit of raiding in Wrath of the Lich King in World of Warcraft, where we did only 10-man raids. That was like the biggest that our guild could manage on a consistent basis. But I could see all of the parallels. So first of all, of course, the preparations, where some people were late and all of that stuff, but then actually running a raid where you have to give clear instructions, follow them, and then everything will progress smoothly. I definitely had this, this is a little bit of a game raid vibe kind of content. It's not something you'll do solo, it's not something you'll do with just 5 guys or anything like that. You need 20-30 people in decent ships that know what they're doing, that all work together to make it happen, to reach the final room in the hive. And the best way to describe it is probably you have basically two tunnels, you can see it like that have different acceleration gates that you need to go through, but it's actually like the right part of the fleet that will have to unlock an acceleration gate for the left part of the fleet, and vice versa. And all of that needs to be timed at the exact same time. So that is done through a hacking mechanic. So how I've seen it done here is basically there's a few dedicated hackers. They tell them when the core is exposed, but they don't finish the hack, and then over TeamSpeak they say, okay, do the hack, and then both fleets take the gate at the same time. So it's pretty timing intensive or sensitive, and you definitely want to be on TeamSpeak for all of that. I think we were pretty lucky when it comes to the spawns in the different rooms that we did. It's only the other part of the fleet that encountered one battleship, and we lost one person before reaching the final room. And that is maybe the one slight danger when it comes to this raid. If you're unlucky and you're the one that is just doomsdayed by one of those drifter battleships, after, let's say, reaching the second or third room, then you won't be able to come back, because you always go back to the first part, and of course they can't double back to re-unlock the gate for you. So that is maybe a little bit unfortunate, you know, if your doomsday before reaching the hive, you're not gonna reach it. But I think we had one loss, and other than that we managed to get through to the final hive without too much trouble. How much time? Maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that, to run the entire hive complex into the final room and then destroy the special drifter battleship that drops the loot, and then you need to convert that somewhere. I didn't get in on the loot process. We were just basically all hovering around in a big ball, killing the sleepers as they come, but after that it does slow down significantly. So a lot of these guys want those elements from the different hives, so that they're ready for whatever the story is going to provide us. And I think it's like every 15 or 20 minutes that another one of those battleships spawns in. You destroy that, then again you can tractor in the loot and you can convert that to one of those elements. So that's how it works, but it does feel decently slow. The process through the hive itself was quite fun. After that it definitely slowed down, and I had to leave, I think, after the 4th battleship was destroyed, which happened to be like a double spawn, where there was a special drifter battleship and an extra one, and we started to take a little bit of losses. Now the good news, I would say, is that it also doesn't take that many people to basically farm those elements. So you do need 20 to 30 people at least to do both sides of the hive and get in there. But after that, well, if you get some numbers with you, even 15 caracals can probably still handle one of those drifter battleships, and you can just keep creating that loot, albeit it takes a lot of time. That's probably the one disadvantage. Maybe what I would prefer, if I were in charge for that mechanic, would be that at first you'd have one battleship that spawns when you first enter it. Next spawn could be 2, then 3, then 4, until you're overwhelmed, or you just decide, okay, this is enough, we're bugging out. So I think there could be a way to accelerate this, but to make it so that it is not just completely farmable by the players either. But overall, honestly, this was a pretty fun experience, and it was very refreshing to once again do something in a fleet as a group, and this felt a lot like a PvE raid in any other MMO. It was definitely a lot of fun. On the lore front, what I thought was pretty interesting was that it looked like there were several sleeper structures next to the hive, which is massive, by the way. The hive is just a huge ring. It is very impressive to actually see it live on TQ, but the sleeper structures that are on the same grid there are heavily damaged, and you've got a whole lot of Jove and sleeper bodies with gaskets that are floating around there. So no idea what happened, but it looks very, very interesting and quite ominous. You feel like a very small capsular fleet over there that is really taking a big step in the unknown. That was quite impressive. But other than that, I would say, yeah, if you want in on something like this, join the Consortium operations channel in game and join their mailing list. And from there, just basically follow the instructions, and you'll be able to take part in some of those fleets as well. I think maybe not for this year anymore, because of course with the holidays we might not have time, but I do think I'm gonna try and get co-incorporated in on a few of those fleets as well. It was definitely a lot of fun. Anyways, that's it for this video then, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.